The world's richest person is trying to take more control over the United States government, and doing so without following the rules that govern just about every federal official, including cabinet members, because Elon Musk is trying to have it both ways. Control government spending, cutting it, he says, unless it's going to one of his companies, personnel, looking at the very buildings, and, of course, national policy. Now, Elon Musk has not been elected. The president can make appointments and does count Musk as an advisor in an unofficial capacity, but he has not gone through any of the compliance, ethics, anti-corruption efforts that cabinet members have to go through, let alone divesting like other federal officials. And now there are reports that he's pushing out one of the longest-serving career officials at the Treasury Department, which is interesting. This doesn't go to lowering your grocery bills, but the Treasury, like other parts of the government that affect Donald Trump and Elon Musk's business, including their crypto holdings, seems to be more of a priority than egg prices. The reports are the official had to basically leave because of a dispute with Musk's folks about accessing a payment system they use that disperses trillions of dollars. The Washington Post reporting that, quote, the nature of the disagreement was not immediately clear, but even the clues are striking. Musk has also tried to use a government advisory group, which he's named after one of his own crypto holdings, in a blatant effort to just promote it and see whether anyone cares or what the consequences are for that. And he's using that to shape policy and spending. Musk visited an agency overseeing federal buildings. He wants to terminate leases of what they view as, quote, mostly empty federal offices. And he also went to OPM, that's kind of the HR for the federal government, and pushed his weight around there. Again, he's not heading any agency. He's not in the cabinet for any single agency, and yet you're seeing him try to use the efforts to kind of shape more than one agency at a time without sitting down and doing the work or the homework of understanding what those different departments and agencies do and what their staff does and what the general counsel might say about the law. Even at his companies, which have known to be disruptive, sometimes effectively so, Musk has shown more interest or appetite in learning first. That's not happening, and as someone who has both worked inside at one point and covered the federal government, it's not so easy to just make it all up as you go without breaking a lot of things. Millions of federal officers now, workers, nonpartisan staff, have gotten an email that says, quote, fork in the road, where Musk, who's, again, not the president, but maybe overshadowing President Trump right now, says that this is a time where they could leave. Now, that might be a loophole where he's hoping to just oust people or scare them because it is harder to just fire millions of people. It was the same language used, the Times points out, when he tried to oust folks and he took over Twitter. Then you can think about how he sounded out on the stump.
This was no ordinary victory. This was a fork in the road of human civilization. It is thanks to you that the future of civilization is assured.
If you know the Yogi Berra line, when you come to a fork in the road, take it. Well, that's what he's hoping these officials do. Others are urging people in the government not to rush out just because Musk is telling them to quit. There's also an executive order where Trump moved Musk's agency inside parts of the government. It has its own website, .gov, although it's fairly thin on details. You can see it there. And Musk sees himself now as something like an equal or peer of the president, certainly not a subordinate cabinet member. He's not following, as I mentioned, the rules and ethics requirements of cabinet members. You can't, for example, even in this era where they talk about deregulation, you can't run a bank, be a bank CEO, and also be Treasury Secretary. Because, as they say, duh, that would be a conflict of interest and a bad idea. Even the other banks wouldn't like it, to say nothing of you, the taxpayers and business people and people with bank accounts who might find that to be a problem. And yet Musk sees this mandate as his own.
The people have spoken. The people want change. And we're going to give it to them. They will get what they asked for. I think this is going to be the most transformative presidency, perhaps since the founding of the country. It's not going to be business as usual. We're going to shake things up. It's going to be a revolution.
Transformation, revolution, a lot of big promises. Who will be left holding the bag?